long pull round. There it is. Happy days. We're just getting straight on with it. Right then guys, welcome to another episode of Hooked. My name's John Murray and I'm an angling addict, and today I'm down at Ecclesfield Pond near Rotherham. So this is a bit of a sort of natural type water. It's actually set in the middle of a housing estate. Never fished it before, and we're out with the bandits fishing a match today. So it's all going to be fairly experimental. I've just come armed with the pole. I've got about 6 or 7 rigs set up, and I'll take you through those in a moment. I've actually drawn peg 26 today, and it's actually quite shallow at this end of the lake, it would seem. Over to my left, so pointing to my right now, it's very, very shallow. And I have set up a 13 metre line, but it's not really a margin line because there's only about 3 or 4 inches of depth right into the margin. So I've actually lined up with a tree over on my left hand side, and I'm probably about 7 or 8 foot out from the bank, and I've got about 18 inches there, and I think that's going to be my big fish line. I've put a little island float up, and I'll probably fish some pellets over the top of that. I'm going to fish one line straight out in front of me at 13 metres. I've got another line off to the right at 13 metres. The one in front of me, I intend to put hemp down on the bottom and feed hemp and castor, loose feed hemp and castor over the top. The one over to my right, I intend to put some sweet skimmer ground bait down with a little bit of chopped worm, castor and some Fiuca micros. The other thing is, the little black Fiuca micros that I've brought, I'm thinking if we can get some fish going on the hemp, maybe the little black Fiuca micro will mimic the hemp and we'll be able to hook that much easier and fish a little bit faster rather than fiddling about trying to put hemp on the hook. The last line that I've decided to fish is sort of around about 5 or 6 metres. Not quite determined exactly where yet, but it really doesn't get any deeper after that. There's probably about an inch difference in the depth. So as I go out, it's getting tiny little bit deeper, but it's a very flat bottom. Over to my left it shallows up a little bit, and over to my right it deepens off a little bit. So I've probably got about 3 or 4 inches more depth fishing on the sort of 1 o'clock line as I have out on the 12 o'clock line at 13 metres. Right, let's take a look at the rigs. So I've got a little slapping rig should the fish start really coming up in the water. There is a lot of fish showing up in the water, and we can fish banded castor on that one. That's a fairly positive, obviously shallow rig. I've got a less positive shallow rig, if I can find it, which is set up on this little 4x10s float, and I've just set that 18 inches deep, and it's shotted with number 11s down the line, size 20 silverfish barbless match hook. We've got 0.13 main line and 0.9 bottom. The deck rig for 13 metres is set up on an AS8 0.4 gram, and we've just got a little bulk of shot down there and a couple of droppers, so that should be fairly positive for fishing over the ground bait. My big fish rig is set up on one of these little shallow floats. It's a 4x12s. It's shotted with stots, 3 of them underneath the float, a couple down the line, and we've got a band on that. I'll probably fish a pellet on that. I've also got a mugging rig set up, absolutely no shot down the line. Again, that's for fishing a pellet if we see any carp swirling. And the rig for fishing out at 13 metres straight in front of me is this little 4x10s MIDI MW float, and again that's shotted sort of every 4 inches down the line with number 11s. Again, 0.13 bottom, 0.09 hook length and a size 20 match hook to start with. And now for the bait. So bait wise, I've got a little bit of chopped worm just put in with the sweet skimmer ground bait. We've got hemp seed to feed over the top on the 13 metre line, so I'm going to put a little cup of that out to start with, and we'll loose feed that throughout the course of the day along with these beautiful casters. I've also got some red maggots to try as an alternative bait, and as I say, these little Fiuca micros, and they just look absolutely perfect against the hemp, don't they? For the mugging line and the big fish line, I've got a selection of pellets in here, and we'll probably just fish one of these sauce pellets on the band. Right guys, we're 3 minutes out from the all-in, so remember, if you enjoy the videos, give them a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode every time we upload one. I'm going to get the other cameras on, get sat on the box, and we'll wait for the whistle. And that's time, guys. So I'm going to start out, just cup a little bit of ground bait and the worm onto my 13 metre line. Probably just 2 small nuggets like that. I'll also put a few feucas, a few red maggots and some casters in that pot. So I've actually lined this one up. Pretty much with Willie. So I say it's out at 1 o'clock. Got about 3 foot of depth, something like that. I think I'm probably in the shallowest part of the lake. Certainly Clive off to my right's got a little bit more depth. So 1 more ball on this, and then we'll pop some hemp and a few casters on the line straight out in front of me at 12 o'clock. So no worm, no ground bait on this line. And actually I'm fishing on a short kit, so I'm just going to back up on my elbow and make sure I put this in the right place. And line up with that tree over there, or the overhanging part of that tree. Just got to be careful with the camera here. It's right behind me today. The peg's a little bit awkward. I've got a drop off behind me as well, so sort of breaking down, and then at least the main part of the pole's nicely to hand. Right, so I think I'm going to start on my really positive rig on the deck. Just loose feed some castor and hemp short as well. So just an inside line, just off to my left a little bit. We'll go out on the right hand side, just start on a red maggot, see what's out there. Elastic choices today are all around the sort of 5 to 7 mark. So some of them are Drennan, some are Duraslip. Got some Duraslip 7. This one's actually on a Drennan 5 to 7. Chances are there's going to be a lot of fish up in the water, especially if we start spraying bait. But that is a bite straight away on the deck over the ground bait. That's a good start. Let's see what we've got here. Only feels a small fish. Nice little skimmer. And actually, I've left my net behind me. Always the case when you're trying to get settled in. I do videos as well, but nice little sort of 4-ounce skimmer to kick off with. So I'm going to have to try and get in a bit of a rhythm here. So I'm just going to hook my rig on the end, get some bait out, start loose feeding this 13 metre line, try and gauge it. And also the inside line just off to the left with hemp. Don't know if I'll need all these lines, but not knowing the lake, just got to try and figure out what's going to be best today. So in we go again. It's gone again. So, looks to be absolutely solid with fish. This feels a little bit better. Yeah, slightly better skimmer. Nice little fish. A couple of very slow bites there. Missed them. I'm going to try the caster. Try and keep that feed going in pretty regular. So whilst I cupped it fairly tight to start with, now I'm going to spread bait around this one. Just keep a few grains of hemp going in on the left hand side. Not going to feed the margin line just yet. I'll save that one for later. Just trying a little lift and lower. These skimmers might have just got a bit wise. That's it though, we're in. A small fish. That's a tiny roach. Again, it's down the inside. Probably 4 or 5 metres will fish that line. A few casters out on the longer line. Those going in. I don't know whether it's the right thing to do. We might be splitting fish, but I just think a loose feed one and cup on the other. See what really works best. The loose feed ones we've got more chance of catching shallow on. If I start to see fish swirling, I'll definitely get on a shallow rig. That's another good bite on the deck. Another small roach, so I might well have slowed off on that line a little bit. I'm just going to rest it a second and try my drop through rig. So I'm just going on the really light MIDI MW float. I'm going to try the caster out long, see if letting it drop through the water very slowly is better. It's actually starting to rain again. It was raining quite heavily this morning. Okay. So I'm just going to lay this rig in. Yeah, so far nothing on the drop on caster. It'll take a bit of time for this just to build. And it is a very slow fall on that rig. So it should be looking absolutely perfect, the presentation. Okay, well, can't get a bite on that at the moment. So I'm going to go back on the deck rig, keep feeding that line. little and often. Just try and keep catching. I keep getting bites on maggot on this deep line, and I try cast her again and still can't get a bite on it. I might have to switch to feeding maggot. Looks to be plenty of fish topping though. Oh, that was another decent bite on maggot. Bumped out of the fish. There's obviously some very soft-mouthed skimmers down there. Tiny roach. And again, so they're only small fish these. Well, the ground bait seems to have worked. And that's it, we're in. Tiny, tiny fish. With a little 1 ounce roach. Good bite. Oh, that's a better fish. Yeah, it feels a nice fish this. Pulling a bit. I've pulled out of him. That's the problem. It pulls. Sticking now, it's getting wet, even though I've got it all polished up. Gutted to lose that one. Barbel sucks though. Sticky pulls. So we're not really marking the bait up. Oh, there's some big carp out there. Right, we're getting lots of little dips and dinks, and there's actually a lot of fish starting to show quite close, but more to my right hand side than to my left. Right, we're in. So red maggot's working quite nicely. I mean, this again is only a small fish. But try and get this one in. Skimmer. It's not actually a bad one. Better than I thought. It's this. Not a bad one. It's just a small fish, but the little weight builders. Oh, is that on? Yeah, that fish is on. Bring him left. And then ship back. Try to get this pole moving through my hands. Hate it, fishing pole when it's wet. Right, slightly better roach. Certainly some fish coming up shallow in this swim now. So that is fairly positive. We're in again, so it's starting to catch quite well over this bit of ground bait. And again. Just got to be careful with these fish, they're so soft-mouthed. Yeah, nice little skimmer this one. Probably the best one so far. So they're not big, but they're adding up. Another tiny roach. I'm going to try one of these little fiucas on the deck. Tiny black little micro. See if a better skimmer will eat one. I may try a bit of worm, but I really only put the worm in just to draw some fish in, and it's probably worked. If you can catch on maggot, you might as well. It's all a question of what the quality is. There's a lot of small stuff down on this deck line at the moment, and that is a bite on the fuka, and this is a decent fish. Probably the best fish we've hooked so far. And he's just got himself off on the surface, I don't believe it. It was a skimmer. How did they do it? He just won't stay down. Oh, he snotted me up. Well, that was interesting. So the fuka really tempting a decent fish there. Let's try one of those again. Well, it definitely seems a bit slow on the micro. I think if you do get one, it's going to be a slightly better stamped fish. Just going to try the caster again on the deck. That's a bite on caster. Don't believe it. Fish has come off again. What is going on? Soft set elastic as well. So a little 18-inch deep rig, size 20 hook, still a 0.9 bottom. Just going to direct hook a caster for now. Not going on the slapping rig, just the little 4x10s, little diamond type float. Just see if anything's been taking these casters shallow. And that was a bite. So there are fish feeding shallow. Yeah, roach shallow on the caster. Not exactly what I was looking for. I think Clive's just had a netter and that fish is off. That's it. Got one shallow. That's a better fish. Maybe shallow is the way to go. If we can get a few nice roach on the go. That's actually a perch. So, perch shallow. I think what I might do before we just go back out is top up that ground bait line, because it certainly seems to work for the skimmers. I'll put a few extra fiucas down there, maggots and everything really. That's another fish shallow. Not a bad one. That's a roach, so maybe, just maybe, it is the way to go. It's absolutely peeing down now as well. That hooks out in the net. But nice little roach. I'm going to leave the brolly down for now so you guys can see what's going on. I'm getting wet all for you. Oh, it's not responding how I'd hope on the shallow line. Maybe the rain's driven them down a little bit at the moment. I'll have a look on the full drop through rig again with the caster. See if anything's been following those casters down to the deck. Been feeding it well over an hour now. There should be something on it. So once again, a full depth search with the drop through rig. That is fish on. So actually that fish took on the drop. Really interesting. Very quick bite that. And that's a quality roach. They're definite weight builders. Yeah, that's another bite and another one on. So this full depth drop through rig seems to be the rig to be on. Possibly watching these casters down. Those roach have turned up. There's a perch again, I think. That don't matter. We'll take him. And all the while, we're just settling our skimmer line. Just starting to up the feed now with these casters. That's it, fish on. Oh, nice perch. I can fish this same rig on the short line and of course the shallow rig. There we go, another fish on. These are much better quality now. These caster fish. Great bites. Amazing what change that's made. It was worth searching out. Looks like a nice roach. And indeed it is. That's a beautiful fish. And there we go, we're in again. This actually feels a half decent fish. Ah, it's off, don't believe it. Felt a good fish that. Could have been a perch, that one. That's it, we're in again. Another perch. So there's quite a number of perch down there. I just wonder if when we go on the skimmer line again, if this dries up a little bit. I'm not coming off this while they're feeding so well. Put as much weight in the net as we can. But I just wonder if we'll have some quality set down there. Nice top up and a nice rest on it now. Oh, that was a fairly quick bite, that. Barely got a chance to feed there. We've got some in. I'll just give that a little lift and lower a foot. See if they watch this bait back down. The early bite there may have got the caster marked up. If I don't get a bite in the next 30 seconds, I'll bring it back. And that's it, we're in. Oh, that is a lovely roach. Another quality little fish. And another one. I'm mopping these casters up now. Plonking roach. Come here. You're mine. They're getting better and better. All the while I'm still feeding that inside hemp line. We've still got the ground bait flying out long to look for skimmers. And we're making this long caster line work. And another one. It's a perch. Just missing a couple of bites at the minute. I'll just back the feed off a touch. Right, well, this caster line's just slowed off a little bit. There's still fish there. I'm just going to rest it. Go and have a look on the skimmer line. It's been nearly an hour since I put that last feed in. So it's probably time for another top up, but no idea what's on it. So we'll go back on the reg maggot, get the deck rig out, and we'll come back to that caster line. And that's it, fish on. Question is it a skimmer? It is, you know. So the old ground bait definitely does the job on the skimmers. That's another good bite. Oh, we've lost that one. Might have to lighten my elastic off here. They're just so soft mouthed. Oh, great big ghost carp. Just cruising past the end of the pole now. What a monster that was. He's up on the top. Breaking surface. Right. I'm actually going to change this kit down. I'm going to put a number 3 on. Okay, so I've swapped the elastic out, different top kit. I've gone to a midi high-vis 3-4 for this skimmer line. I don't want to be losing these skimmers. Well, typically, I can't get a bite now. That's gone, and we're in. And that's more like it. Nice little skimmer, that. Lovely little skimmer. Right, don't want to neglect the caster line, so I'm going to try and feed a few out there, keep them interested. And that's it, finally. It's quite slow on this skimmer line. It seems to take an awful long time to get a bite on it. When you do, it's, generally it is a skimmer. So the ground bait, the difference between the two styles is night and day. Fishing with the little bulk rig over ground bait and maggot is producing skimmers, yet we're only a few yards apart with the two lines, and the caster line is producing roach and perch. So another small skimmer. They're not bad weight builders, but I think I'm going to come off this line, go back on the caster, see if we can get those fish feeding again. I'll top this line up before we do. It's good to fall back on it. And I'm going to get out my coat because it's getting quite warm and it's finally stopped raining. Okay, I'm hoping these caster fish are going to be sat down there feeding confidently. Oh, fish on. Never even saw it move. Just lifted the pole. I was about to recast. Oh, that's a nice bream. Wasn't expecting that. Well, not a bream, but best skimmer of the day. Where did that come from? And here comes the rain again. Oh, now we're starting to get some bites where we're just missing them. Before I couldn't miss. Yeah, we're into one. Struck with the knee there. These are what we want. Dog roach. Oh, another bite that's missed. Not sure what's happening here. I don't know why they've got so fickle all of a sudden. Could just be bigger, wiser old fish. I really can't present the bait much more delicately than what I am. Right, finally, messed about with. Oh, it's off. I don't believe it. The fish messing about with the bait there and hooked it. Tried to stay into it, but it came off. Definitely roach, chewing the caster. And I'm going to try double caster here. Oh, this is proper fish. That is a proper roach. Big old warrior. Actually, it's an hide. I thought that was a massive roach. Ooh, violent. So lovely hide. There's another dip. So we're just getting funny little dips. Probably just got to wait for the float to bury properly. The swim's still a little bit iffy. I get a feeling there's some bigger fish moving in. There's a decentish fish, this. Could be another hide. Oh, it's around my keep net. Can't lift him. Hooked. What is this? Possibly a little carp. Yeah, it is. Tiny little carp. Maybe that's where my swim went a little bit quiet. I'm struggling to keep bites coming on the caster line at the moment. It's definitely gone a bit iffy. So I think what we'll do is have a look on this short line. Just see if anything's there on the hemp. If not, I'll just rotate onto the skimmer line. Oh, there we go, that was a bite on hemp. So at 5 metres I couldn't get a bite, 6 metres got a bite. Yeah, there's fish there on hemp. Just got to hook them now. Question is this the best rig for them, or do I want the shallower rig? Right, that fish is on. Small, very small hemp fish. Just pushing the hemp on the back of the bend of the hook. There's some good quality there. I'll stick with it. Oh, that was a small, fast bite again, that. Oh, that was a decent fish. Just bumped out of that one. Wasn't expecting it to be that big. So actually there could be some decent fish there. A little hemp roach. I'm not really sure these end brooch are worth catching, although I did feel like we hooked a better fish before, but I had 3 or 4 now and they really are quite small. It's quite weedy down there as well. Yeah, that's another one on the hemp, and again, a tiny fish. So, oh, he's come back. Couldn't get hold of him. Right, I don't think that's worth pursuing. So I'm going to look back on the caster line. Can't catch on it. I'm going to go back on the skimmer line. Just keep rotating. We know there's hemp fish there, but they're just not very good quality at 6 metres. Maybe should have fished it further out. Could do with a really good run of fish. Good stamp fish. About an hour and a half left. Right, so the caster line still seems slow and iffy. Had that really good sort of half an hour on it. It's been a bit dodgy ever since. So I'm going to see if I can nick another skimmer. And if I can't, I guess I'll just go fishing for those tiny roach on the hemp. I don't feel confident enough to have a go for the carp or anything. I'm not sure there's enough that are willing to feed in here. So let's just see if we can get something on the maggot. On the deck rig, skimmer deck rig. Well, something's mouthing this bait. Again, just holding the float down. Right, we're in. And we're out. Fish has come off. And you Adam and Eve it. Snotted my line up. I don't know whether the drop in air pressure is making these fish so fickle. What with the rain that we've had all day. Well, they're just messing about with the bait. I'll just stick one more ball of ground bait on that and go straight over the top of it. Okay, I've gone straight in over the top of that ground bait. Let's see if it gives them a bit more confidence to bite. Yeah, that was a decent bite. I've missed that. Sliding away was that float. Well, they definitely don't mind a bit of ground bait on the reds. Right, that's fish on. Pole is absolutely sticking to my hands again. These fish are still messing around with this bait. Well, that one's on. Throwing him out the net. Got him again. Right, another dinky little skimmer again. They're a nightmare. They're a nightmare to hook. They're a nightmare to land because they're so soft-mouthed. They come up to the top, and if you get too much pressure on them with the weight, they're off. But they are at least adding a bit of weight. See if we can take one more. Going back, look on that caster line again. Such slow bites to develop. They hang on to the bait and it's ages before they're on, and that was a tiny fish. No keeping that on the hook. Well, it was two tiny fish in succession on that. That dropped off. And they're almost just not worth catching if they're going to be like that. So, time to look back on this caster line. See if we can get a quality few fish. Just shy, or just over an hour to go. Not going to feed anything in as we go out. Just going to look and see if we can pick one up straight away. Clive says these are about 30 fish. I've got 29. Clive's lost a carp. Rob reckons he's struggling, but we all know how much he lies. And that is a bite on caster. It took a while. That's a better fish. Better fish on this line. Without putting any feed in. Decentish fish this. Yeah, it's another hide. I think it's an hide anyway. No, that is a dog roach. Dog roach. They make a lot of those skimmers. Probably 3 or 4 of those skimmers to one of those big dog roach. And get a few more of them before the end. That'll be lovely. So again, I think I'll just hold off putting any additional feed out. See if we can trick another one. Yeah, we're in. Oh, I missed that one for a second. Decent fish. There's a skimmer. That's another fish on. There's another skimmer. skimmers have moved on the caster line now. Good bite. And fish on. Just need to go a bit steady because I think these are all skimmers now. Yeah, it's another half decent skimmer. That's probably one of the better ones today. I'm very ginger with this. Just going to tempt him towards the net and have him. And that's actually more like a bream. Best fish of the day. So sticking out on this caster line, it's definitely been the right move. Figured the hemp line was just, the quality was just too small on it, which was disappointing. But just loose feeding casters has brought the best result of all. The ground bait certainly brought skimmers in. Fishing maggot over the ground bait have been a bit tentative. Just loose feeding casters. I've probably only put a pint in the swim in total all day. Come and gone of these fish. As long as they stick around for the last hour. Oh, that has gone again. And we are in again. My hands are very sticky, so I'm just pushing this over my knee, keeping my pole tip low, trying to keep these fish on. Just wet hands and carbon, they don't mix. It's a smaller skimmer. Certainly a weight builder. That's another bream, about a pound. And the catapult's gone in the drink, but fortunately I can see it. That is maybe not a pound, maybe 3/4 of a pound. This is definitely more the quality of skimmer we want now. The rain's starting to come down again, which might actually help me if the pole gets wet. Can't be any worse than it feels right now. That caster was smashed up. I was wasting time waiting for a bite there. Watching Willie, he's starting to catch strong on net fish. Certainly had a couple Can't keep my eye on them all the time. Still can't see what Rob's doing. Apparently John Ford's had a few in the corner. Clive reckons his best fish is a perch. Could be a 3-pounder though. Come on, go under. Consistent bites, that's what we want. Ah, that went. I've lost that fish. Well, I never hooked it. Ah, that was a fast bite. It looks like we've got roach in the swim again. Quite possibly roach. Yeah, unmarked caster. Funny how they just come on and off. Just going to hold off on the feed again. Another fast bite and nothing there. Yeah, decent fish. And it is a roach, and a good one at that. Beautiful. She's gone, and we're in. That's another nice skimmer. That's gone. Oh, we've got a fish flying, and it's. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Not entirely sure what this is. Decent fish though. This is another skimmer. It was a flying fish. Decent one. Half an hour to go. Come on. Ooh. Fish starting to roll close in now. Probably too late in the day for them. And we're in. Decent skimmer this. Slow bite developing. Yeah, go on, take it properly. That must be on. That's on. Ah, right, here we go. Oh, it's still on. It's just a smallish fish. Got used to catching bigger ones. It's a perch. Where's he come from? No point going crazy with the bait now. Just give him a little bit. Keep him in the area. That's on. That's a decent fish. Yeah, decent fish. Another nice skimmer. Floats under, we're in. Not a big one this. Little roach, I'm swinging. Two minutes left. I just have time to get one more bream. Yeah, bite developing. Come on, come on. It's gone. It's on. It's off. And that's time. Right guys, well, we've done all we can. I think I've fished quite a good match, to be honest. Reasonably happy with my performance, but I've dropped a few fish, missed a few bites, but you know, these things happen, especially when you're skimmer fishing. They've just got such delicate mouths, you've got to go so steady with them. The pole was sticking to my hands at times, you know, when it's getting wet and then it's drying out and then your hands are wet with feeding casters all day. It's just a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, I'm going to get wrapped away, we'll get weighed in and we'll see how we've done. Stay tuned. What's winning it, Rob?
2 10s up to now. Will's got 10.13, Gleaned 10.3, Stuart 3.15. Mr. Keeley's a dark horse apparently.
Is he?
10 there, isn't he?
Got fuel there, Johnny.
Yeah, had a good day, but
Well done, John.
I reckon you got that, Mr. Ford.
What? Got what?
Same as that. 19. Who's got net?
Come on, John.
Are you smiling for your lass?
Them wedding bells all day.
Yeah, it was lovely because
She gets bored of watching me.
security all day, wasn't it?
I kept thinking about he's shitting himself hearing them all day.
Well, put earphones
Beep!
in.
Oh, sorry.
I thought you were when you expert.
No. one perch.
You emptied it, Rob?
Had a decent last 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah. Hey, we're getting better. I could have fished another hour, mate. I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah.
Apart from rain and mud.
I've actually quite enjoyed it. It wasn't to start me, but
Yeah.
I can't lead straight in really.
It's all right. I've already said that on camera, Will. Says Rob's been complaining. He's had no fish all day. I says, but you can't believe a word he says.
how dare you cast those aspersions?
Because it's showing it.
There's more than 10 pounds here. Ah, they might be. They've been 15, if not 20. That's got to learn how to count
Lie.
fish.
Lie straight in bed. Well done, Rob. Nice catch. How many fish did you have?
66.
66. I've only had 40.
No, 18 pounds.
Oh, a bit,
I ain't got 10 pounds.
a bit more than I thought. Well, I ain't got £10, I've got 18.
What an hero. It's a good job we don't go to cart
What did he
venue.
have there?
18 pound dead.
I'll just go and get mine sorted out.
Say, it's a good job we don't go to cart venues and he's got to click them, innit?
I know, I'd lose half my nets, wouldn't I?
For £70 every time, have we?
Skin bobs.
Proper skinners them, aren't they? Can you stop swearing?
I didn't hear it.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
You're swearing it.
£8.15. Oh, it's died.
Was it? Have you finished it? I'll have to send them back. Just call it £12. Have a good guess.
Call it 19.
18-1. Don't get excited.
What do you get these on?
Maggie. Never seen as much last week. Look at that one there. Look at that.
£6.5.
Instead, £6 though.
The video is just what we've done.
You ready?
Ooh. Ooh.
Ain't got 18. And that's it, Will.
Quiet again, isn't it?
About 15, I reckon.
16. 16.2. Well done, John.
Cheers, Will. Bloody Rob again. Well done, Rob.
Thank you.
Right then guys, so you've seen the weighing. I'll get all the results up for you now. So unfortunately I haven't won the match, but I've had a strong second place finish. Big well done to Rob on taking out the match again. Cracking net of fish there, mate. Yeah, it was a bit of a funny one really, to be honest. Would we fish it again? Probably. It was hit and miss, you know, as you've seen throughout the course of the day. The 30-metre line off to me right, it was sort of night and day. I mean, maggot over ground bait, it was producing small skimmers and the likes. And obviously the caster line sort of started out perch, turned into roach, and then at the end, you know, turned into some half decent skimmers and bream, which has obviously got me the second place. The hemp, the fish were too small on it. Maybe should have fished that out on a longer line. I'm not entirely sure. Rob says he's caught probably about £5 in the last hour short on top 2+2, and he's just fished maggot. He's not put anything else in, he's just fed maggot all day. So, you know, it is what it is. And yet he couldn't get a bite on caster. So who knows? It's very, very strange. My peg was probably the shallowest on the lake. So I don't know whether that was impacting on my catch rate. It seemed when it rained, it seemed to put the fish off a bit. And yeah, they'd come back. But, you know, I don't know whether the drumming on the surface was just knocking them on the head a little bit. They were a bit hit and miss at times. But I've enjoyed the day nonetheless. Right, guys, thanks for watching. And until the next one, tight lines.